Welcome back to Connect and Transform. In this video, we're continuing on with creating the checkers game, and we're going to fill out the logic around jumps. Specifically, we're going to complete these four functions here. So to start with, we're going to select a piece. I'm going to select this red piece to jump another red piece just for demonstration purposes. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the other red piece that it's going to jump, and we will manually adjust it. So I'm going to say document query selector, and we're going to select, so let's see, this is P36, so we're going to be jumping P45, and that's a red piece. So we're going to select the piece, we're going to set the attribute href to basically look like a black piece. Okay, and then instead of move piece NE, we're going to be calling jump piece NE. So I'll save that. So what we should see is, because jump piece NE is not defined yet, all we're going to see is that the piece that would be jumped is going to change from a red to a black piece. And we do see that. So now we're going to go define this jump piece NE. So we're going to start with the move piece NE body. And a lot of it is going to stay the same. We are going to have a number of more animations, and we're also going to have to create an additional constant. So we're going to create a constant for the jump piece ID, which is going to be P underscore, and then if we're jumping to the northeast, then the piece that is jumping will move to x plus 2, y minus 2, but the piece that is being jumped will be relatively to the current piece, it'll be x plus 1, y minus 1. So we're going to just copy all that actually. So, okay, we've defined our jumped piece ID there, and then remember that the piece that is jumping is going to x plus 2, y minus 2. And I believe the only thing that we have to edit now is the animations. So there's going to be 4 animations here. There's going to be 2 legs to the jump on the current piece, and then the jumped piece itself is going to have 2 different animations. One of them is going to be, we're going to scale it really big, and we're going to set the opacity to 0 to kind of make it look like it's exploding. And then in the second animation here, we're going to kind of overload this functionality, and we're just going to we're going to create a mechanism through which to destroy the element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say anytime the value is display none and only display none, we're going to take that as a hint in the transition queue processing function, in the apply transitions function. We're going to take that as a hint to destroy the element. So we're going to do that real quick in the apply transitions function. We're going to say if the current transition style is precisely equal to display none, then we're going to grab the current piece's parent node, and we're going to call remove child. And we're going to remove that piece. And remember that the ID that we're passing on these last 2 animations is the jumped piece, but the ID that we're going to pass on the first 2 animations is the current piece. Now, the other thing is the duration of these animations is going to change, and the delay after the animations occur is going to differ. So, for example, the first half of the jump We're going to change this delay afterward to 150. And then we're going to get rid of this altogether. And then we're basically going to follow that pattern here as well. Because there's no reason to delay after you're destroying an element, so we might as well take the least amount of time possible. And as soon as the jumping piece is done with its animation, there's really no reason to delay. Actually, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move that up there. So now what we're saying is when the jumping piece finishes its jump, there's no reason to delay before getting rid of the piece that was jumped. And what this is saying, this 150, it's saying that we can start this second transition, the second animation, before the first animation is done. Because the first animation is taking 375 milliseconds, but we're starting the second one 150 milliseconds later. Okay, now we need to adjust some translations. So when the jumped piece kind of explodes, we'll get back to the translation in a moment, but one thing we want to do is we want to scale it really large, like to 1.7. And then we want to set the opacity to 0. And in the first half of the jump, we want the jumping piece to also scale beyond 1 to maybe 1.2. But then in the second half of the jump, we want to make sure to scale it back down to 1. Okay, so let's look at where it's jumping to. So the first animation is correct at x plus 1, y minus 1. The second animation is also correct because the jumped piece is not moving, but the third animation needs to change to x plus 2, y minus 2. And I believe that's all we need to do there. So let's just save real quick and let's see where we are at. And we don't see any errors. So I'm going to refresh a few times. So we see the red piece have two animations, one to the black square and then one forward. The black square has an animation where it gets larger and less opaque. And then it has a fourth animation that we don't actually see, which is where it actually gets removed from the board. So there you have it. That's an example of one of the jump animations completed. So basically, I can just copy this body here, and we're just going to be changing signs. So if I change northeast to northwest, now instead of being x increasing and y decreasing, now both x and y are decreasing, but that will occur by the same degree. So I'm going to change x plus 1 to x plus 2 to x minus, and then over here in each of the animations, each of the transitions, we're going to change from x plus to x minus. And just like that, jump northwest should be complete. So let's give that a shot. And there we go. We see that it jumped to the northwest. Now let's grab a different piece. Let's grab one of these. We're going to test the southeast and the southwest. And we don't need that line anymore. That was just for my sanity so that I wasn't jumping the same color piece. So I guess we'll do southwest first. So when you're going to the southwest, X is decreasing, Y is increasing, which means we're going to have to shift all of these signs. So X needs to decrease. And then Y will increase. Okay, so we'll save that. That's Southwest, and our temporary code is calling Southwest. Let's refresh. And there we go. We saw it jump to the Southwest. Now let's do Southeast, and that should finish up the video. So instead of X decreasing and Y increasing, now in the Southeast direction, both X and Y will be increasing. So we'll change X minus to X plus. And Y is already plus. Save it, refresh. And we see a jump to the Southeast. Okay, so now we've demonstrated all 4 of these. And that will do it for this video. In a future video, we'll finish up these last remaining functions. I believe all the others are completed to a degree, everything above and below it. So I think these functions, maybe 1 or 2 more, should pretty much do it for the entire game. Thank you for watching.